So here's my adventure today. I pulled the well pump up out of the well house here. What you see here is looks like 1.25 inches or just over an inch of one PVC pipe, and on that there's the electrical wire that runs the submersible pump, and then there's this piece of was used to pull the pump up with. So the way they did this, I couldn't believe it, but they have the this is the wellhead here, the top, and then there's about, I would say, 30 odd feet of pipe, and then there's the pump as it came out of the, just as I got it out of the well hole, the PVC pipe broke off right at the top of the pump there. You'll see right here. You see that broke off. It couldn't take the strain of tipping the pipe back, and so this broke off. So what we figured is this is the pump is jammed up, and you can see there's a lot of rust on the intake and the screen here. So maybe it's sitting too low in the well, but been down in the well for probably 25 years. So it's going to be replaced with a new pump, most likely. And then I guess I'll show you what I saw here just before I pulled. There's the well here, about 50 feet deep, I guess, and the pressure tank here and whatnot. So, but when I saw that rigid PVC pipe on there, I looked up on the ceiling here, and you can see there's a hole right there. See? They had a hole cut through the roof, and I'm thinking that when they put that pipe in, they had no, they probably had that pipe sticking out the roof, and they pushed it, let it go straight down into the well. I don't know, maybe that's just a guess. But, so anyway, I'm going to cover that up. So here is the submersible well pump. Yeah, I'm going to figure out where the water level is in the well, because I see it started to get rusty right about here on the pipe, see? So that's telling me maybe water level, historic or current. So it shows about 10 feet down into that, but I'm going to plumb the well too, and just with a weight on a rope, and see if I can figure out where the water level is. But yeah, it just stopped working the other day. I went to use the hose, and there was nothing going on at all. And this particular well pump has the panels here, and then it has an external controller on the wall right here. And inside that controller, this snaps into it here. This is the start capacitor here, and a relay. And then there's contacts all along here, and those, when you put the cover on, it makes contact into the wiring system. So it joins the panel wires through the relay, through the start capacitor, through the start winding of the motor. And the only other part in that circuit is it's the pressure switch here on the tank that would start and stop the pump on demand. That's the well pump assembly. I'll just get one little look at the top here. So there it is. There's the flange that comes out, and the piping and the wiring that would go to the panel. There you have it. More things to do. Here's the old box here. This is actually the control box that came out of that well pump, and the capacitor, as you can see on the end here, the capacitor just about blew itself up. It's all black and almost caught fire, I'd say. And it tripped the breaker the other day. Okay, further along on the pump, the deep well pump. Okay, here's the pipe laid out on the ground. And there it is there. And I've just measured the length of it from the well cap to the base of where the pump would have been. It's about 36 feet. So now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the pump house, and I've got a string with me marked off with a weight on the end of it, and marked off every 5 feet. And I'm going to try and determine where the bottom of the well is and where the water level in the pump house is. So what I've got here is a turnbuckle, and I put a good piece of line on it. So down it goes. So that's 1 foot. That's 2, 3, 4. It's marked, has little marks on it. I can see it 5 feet, and I think another, and then the next one will be at 10 feet. That's 5 feet. Okay, and then this next one going in here is 10 feet. Right there's 10 feet. A little mark on the line, you can see here, 10, and then there's a mark on the line right here, see? That's 10. That's 15. There's 20 feet to the casing. There's another mark coming up right here, see that? So that's down there, that's 25 feet. 25, that's 30 feet. 30. There's 35. That's about 36. So the pump was sitting hanging about 36 feet in. There, I'm getting the bottom of the well there now. I don't even have quite 40 feet. So I'm about 38.5 feet to the top of the casing. So the pump was probably sitting a little too low. So this is the 40-foot mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a knot in that 40-foot mark. I'm just going to knot it off. So I'll know that that was about a foot out of the casing. Just like that. So I was sitting, I think, about 38.5 feet. I'm right on the bottom there, where everything goes slack. You see that? So I'm going to pull it out, and I'm going to try and figure out where the water level is on this, where it starts to get wet. Dry so far. Dry so far. Brings to mind that Chilean mine rescue a few years ago, where they brought all those men out of a mine, out of a 27-inch diameter pipe. Okay, the water level is here somewhere. Just starting to get wet, right about here. So water, yeah, it's wet here. So I'm going to figure out how much water is in the well. So that's 1 feet, so there's, I think that's 5. So there's 10 feet. So there's about 12 feet of water in the well. Okay, now you'll remember when I dipped the well with the string, I tied a knot when the weight hit the bottom, and I marked that as the top of the well casing. So here's the top of the well casing with that knot. And what I've done here is I've laid it out on the lawn to show the relative position of where the pump was sitting off the bottom of the well. So here we go. Alright, and the other thing you'll know is I tied a knot when I dipped the well where the water level was. So it's 12 feet. So there's 12 feet of water in the well. So here I'll show you how I've done it. Here's the weight I use, a turnbuckle. That went right to the bottom of the well. Okay? That went to the bottom of the well. And this is about the approximate position that the well pump was sitting, which is about, it says this is 4 feet. So it was 4 feet off the bottom of the well. And there's 12 feet of water measured right now at this time of year in the well. Right, so the well is this much full of water, 12 feet of water. So there's about 7 feet or 8 feet of water above the pickup on that strainer on the pump. So it's plenty enough water in the well. So that's not the problem. And like I say, we think it's the motor and the pump itself, just based on the age of it. But there it is. It gives you a really good representation of the actual depth of the well and how much water's in it and where the pump sat in relation to the bottom of the well. So there it is. And that's about right, I think. That's probably how it should be, about 4 or 5 feet off the bottom of the well. Okay, so here's my project for today. What I decided to do was to put the well pump in. And what I had here, my back got kind of sore doing this the other day, pulling it out. So what I've got here is it's a little crane I bought a number of years ago at a yard sale. I paid 20 bucks for this thing. It's got like a boat winch crank on it here with a stop, so it'll keep the rope where you want it to. And all I've done is poked a couple of little holes through here around the beam, and I've tied it with good strong rope in the top, middle, and bottom. And then I've also tied it up here, and it's enough weight to hold. The pump is about 40 pounds, right? So it's just to keep you from holding the weight of the pump continually while you're working on it. So here now you see the pump is hanging free. I've replaced the rope with this is 3/8 poly, and so what it is it goes down here. There's a little eye on the pump right here. So I put a shackle, I put double wrap here, I tied a bowl in here in it, and then what I've done is I've taken the live end of the rope and I've clamped it with a hose clamp here. So if this little eye here ever lets go, the shackle won't pass where the hose clamp is, so you still have the rope holding the pump if this little eye here ever lets go. It's just sort of a double security thing I wanted to do. So anyway, the pump is hanging free, and so now it's a matter of I'm going to hook up some wires to it, and we've got a measurement. What we need to do is we need to have the bottom of this pump in the well 34 feet from the top of the casing, and that'll leave about 4 feet of water beneath the bottom of the pump to the bottom of the well, about 4.5 feet. So that's just where we're headed for. So we're going to figure that out as we go. And I've got here's the wire that I'm going to hook to this, and then I'll show you that just as I piece it together to put it down in the well. Okay, so I'm ready to put the pump into the well. What I've done is I've made the electrical connection on these wires from the leads that come up to the surface to the pump. And how these are done, they're back spliced, so I've wound the wires back over each other on a bare connection. And then I had a small shrink tube that I shrunk tube the connections, then a larger one over that, and then double wrapped in vinyl tape. So that should be a bone dry connection there on those. So and what I've done here is I've measured from the bottom of the pump to where the pipe sits in here. That's 32 inches right into here. So we're going to add that to our length. We're aiming for 34 feet from the casing to the bottom of the pump. So 32 inches there. And the piece of pipe that I'm going to stick on here in a moment is exactly 10 feet long. So here we go. Take the brick off. Get these boards out. And we go. Okay, so I've got the pump suspended on the rope, and I've got it just inserted into the wellhead. And then I'm just going to make a connection here for the PVC pipe. And I'm going to put the anti-twist, this gizmo here, it's going to go on in a minute. And then I'll take a video of that just before I start lowering the pump into the well. Okay, here's the well pump set up at the wellhead, all connected to the first length of pipe. Got the rope on there. We've got the wires connected. We've got this bumper in here that's anti-torque. That runs against the side of the well, so it keeps the pump from spinning around and around with the torque of the motor. And the wires I've got double heat shrinked and then double vinyl taped, so they should be a good dry connection there for a long time. And I'm just going to slowly lower this first length down into the well. So what we're looking at here is this fitting, and below into the well is the first 10-foot length of pipe. And then I've just held it on the rope here on my little cable. See, my little cable goes up in this little crane, and it holds the weight of the pump. And then I've just screwed in another 10-foot length here, and I've tightened it right here. It's a threaded connection. And I'm going to lower this, this is the second 10-foot length, down into the well. Okay, so what we see here is the top of the well, and the piece of pipe sticking out is the 20-foot length. So there's, right now, there's 20 feet of pipe in the well.